Alright, so continuing on with the series of 10 things I hate about my whatever bike. This is my 2015 Ducati Diavel, and I'm going to do the 10 things that I hate about this bike. If you didn't see the last video that I did, I also did the 10 things I hate about my R1, and I have yet to do the 10 things I hate about my KTM. So video links will be in the description whenever they either did come out or will come out.
Holy fucking shit, Downshift, stop fucking cursing!
Shut the fuck up, Carl!
Agents of the Resistance. We must rise. We must resist.
So, first things first for this bike, there's not a lot to hate about it, but obviously it's nitpicking on small things, and it's definitely stuff that I can change. But the first thing that I've got is this, I don't know if you want to call it a fender, but it's this plastic fender that I've got for whatever, to save spray and get shit all over the place. But I don't get like why this massive thing is plastic. Like, why can't it be carbon fiber? Like, I wish it was carbon fiber. It sucks that it's not. So that's one. I had a license plate bracket on this that came out from the center hub, and then it would stick back here, and that was where my license plate used to be. I didn't like it. I relocated it. So I like it the way it looks now, but when I was taking off the bracket from the other side, I ended up chipping my fucking Marchesinis, and I'm really mad about it because, I don't know, I can't see it. It's on the other side, but it's definitely something that pissed me off because it was like red thread lock the entire bolt. So like by the time I got to the end of it, it just like kind of, the bolt broke loose and I chipped a little bit of my fucking rim. Wasn't happy about it, so yeah, there's that. Number 3 is I have this awesome key fob. This great key fob for the bike. And it's basically, I can just leave it in my pocket and go. I can start the bike up as long as it's within proximity. I should be able to start it. So I love that. I love that I have a key fob, but what I wish it had come with was a second one. Sometimes these key fobs like go out of battery, which isn't an issue necessarily, but if it's like if you're just on the go or on the run, I'd rather be able to just have a secondary key fob. It comes with a spare key, but it's not the same, because I mean, yeah, I can enter in a PIN code to get this bike started without the key fob, but I just wish there was a second key fob. It just would make things a lot simpler. Number 4. Number 4. So I changed out the clutch cover on this to a Duca bike clear clutch cover. They call it an aquarium because I have a wet clutch, and it's cool as fuck. But when I was changing the clutch cover off, like the OEM, when I was changing the entire OEM clutch piece off, I unbolted everything and I was having issues taking it off. I couldn't fucking figure it out for the life of me. And basically, there's no gasket for this that you put on it. It's a liquid gasket called Ducati 3 Bond. And this shit is like the fucking red thread lock of rubber gasket, like liquid shit. It is like gluing this shit on there. So it took me probably about, I don't know, 5 minutes to unbolt everything, and then another hour just to take the case off, just trying to figure out how to pry that shit off. I was so close to just drilling through the old OEM just to yank that fucking thing off. So the Ducati 3 bond is cool, but man, it's impossible to get past sometimes. And that includes the oil change too. You have to use the 3 bond for the oil change. Just an overall pain in the ass. Number 5. Not a big deal. I mean, I don't really think I was turning correctly, but I was taking a very smooth right-hand turn onto an on-ramp, and I ended up just grinding the shit out of my exhaust. I thought it was my peg at first, and then, yeah, I got some of the peg, but the exhaust actually took a shitload of the brunt, and I'm just like, I wasn't even that low. I was traveling. So it's kind of weird that my exhaust is grinding, but like it's not a track bike, so whatever. I'm not happy about that. Number six. I've been taking this bike on various trips and traveling and stuff like that, going down to Miami, Jacksonville, various other places. And what happens is I'll wear a backpack while riding, and I ended up, you probably won't see it, but there's definitely like surface scratches and stuff like this on the solo cowl because I didn't take it off prior to wearing a backpack, and it just like happened to rub it. So I'll either have to buy another one or find a good painter that can paint matte. So that's another thing. It's just like I scratched the shit out of it, and I feel like an asshole for doing it. But whatever. 7. Okay, so 7. So other than the exhaust scraping for a corner, and then obviously the foot peg scraping on a corner, it's no big deal. But one thing, and I caught it on video, is this bike is so low that even just a weird bump will start grabbing shit. There's a lot of low parts on this bike, and just one of the parts that happened to be really low was, you know, the exhaust, and it grabbed the competition works and kind of pulled it out. Obviously I have the video on it, but it's the bike is so low that you have to take into account the road enough to not fuck up your own bike. So number 8. I've got something for it, and I have not installed it yet, and I feel like an idiot for not doing it. But I have a exhaust flapper valve that's OEM, and it's great for low RPMs. It keeps the bike nice and quiet in like the lower RPM range, probably between 4,000 and 5,000 RPMs, usually like right in the cruising range. But when I'm in that range and I want to gun it, it basically forces so much exhaust through the exhaust pipes that it slams that shut and robs me of all power. It sucks so bad. I absolutely hate that about that. So yeah, there's that. Number 9 would be that this is a California emissions bike, and well, it's kind of like a two-part for the 9. It's a California emissions bike, so there's basically, if you have a fucking Ducati in the United States, they don't give a shit about the rest of the 50 states. They just make all the other fucking bikes basically California legal. So this bike is California legal. There's like a carbon filter underneath my tank cover, and it fucking sucks. Part 2 of that is that this is a tank cover, and I have a tank underneath this. Well, something weird with Ducati is that the tank below this expands and contracts and stuff like that, and when it just happens to expand too much, like the pieces start separating more than they should be. I had issues with like fitment on some of these parts going back together correctly. it's not a big deal, but if you're paying for a fucking Ducati, you would expect it to at least be put back togetherable. And it's not because of the expanding gas tank, and it fucking sucks. So I hate that. So fuck that. And then I think the last one is my seat. The seat is extremely plush, comfortable, and everything that you could possibly want in a seat. But after 2 hours, my ass is still fucking sore. I can get an hour out of that just fine. And then after that, I'm walking like I just got off of a fucking horse. But this one, if I go longer than... If I go long, like 2 hours I can take in a straight line. That's not a problem. But after that, it's like I need to stop like every hour on the hour just to take a rest because my ass fucking hurts. And I know there's seat upgrades, but fuck that. I'm not paying for that shit. So those are my 10 things I hate about my Ducati Diavel. I realized that I didn't call out people on the last video for the R1. I did on social media. I ended up calling out Motonosity and Witness 2282. So for this one, I'm going to call out 2 other Ducatistas. Basically, Motonosity and Witness 2282 both have Yamaha R1s similar to mine. And there are only a couple Ducati Diavel owners. I don't want to necessarily call them out because I think I want to hear from a couple other people. So the first one that I'm going to call out is going to be Clutch First. I'll link him in the description. So I want to hear from you, Clutch First. What are the 10 things that you hate about your Ducati monster? If you're not following him already, take a look down in the description for all these people that I've mentioned before. And lastly, the other person that I want to call out is Snowcat. Snowcat, I would love to hear about the 10 things you hate about your Hyper Motard. Alright guys, that's going to do it for me for my 10 things I hate about my Ducati Diavel. If you haven't seen the R1, I'll leave it in the description. The KTM will be up next. And yeah, later dudes.